Hello and welcome everyone. So this is going to be my video that's just going to be like a anti-board guide, as the title is. This video has been done before by a fellow YouTuber. His name is Frostax. I will link to his video in the description. However, my take on it is completely different, and I just have a different way that I approach the game in terms of making myself enjoy it, and I just want to share with you guys my perspective. So why am I making this video? You know, when it comes down to it, a lot of people we've been playing Dofus for years, right? This video is more for advanced players. We've been playing Dofus for years, and at this point, a lot of people just log on out of habit and they don't necessarily do anything. But that's wrong, because there's so much to do in the game, and I just want to present some of the things that you could be doing. But for me, if you want to be enjoying a game like Dofus, you basically have to do one thing, and that is set yourself challenging goals, or like difficult challenges, right? That are still attainable and that have regular progression that you can monitor, because that sort of keeps you flowing with it, right? You'll enjoy it more. So you need those difficult challenges, and they can't be too difficult that they're unattainable, but they have to be something that you have to work for, obviously. If you're a beginner, your challenges could be, for example, oh, I want to get level 100, right? Or I want to get my first million commas, or maybe a little bit past that you want to be like, oh, I want to get my first APMP Gelano, right? That's like I want to get APMP Gelano. That's like a hype item if you're low level. Or you just want to get a nice set, or you want to get some dungeon duos, or you want to get your first Dofus. Those are really cool goals to have when you're a beginner. However, for a lot of us more advanced players, we've just been through the ringer once, twice. I don't know if you've been hacked or whatever, and you just want to restart the game. You've done all these things multiple times. So we're kind of at a point as advanced players where we've done all these things, and we kind of need something more, right? So that video is for those people. I am myself included as one of them. I actually came back. I had taken a 3-month break or so, and I came back, but now I've been playing for 2 months solid, and I'm really enjoying the game. So I just want to share some of that with you, and sort of what keeps me going and coming back. A lot of us quit, a lot of us come back. Dofus is just that game that we all come back to, right? So and if we're all here, we should at least do our best to enjoy our time. So we're going to get into it. We have 3 categories in the game, in my opinion. The game is broken down into 3 main categories. Obviously, there are more niche sections of these, but there might be something outside of this that's more targeted. But these are basically the 3 things that cover the whole game, and they are PvP, which is player versus player. You also got PvK, which is player versus commas, right? And you also have PvM, also known as PvE, which is player versus monster, or player versus, I think, environment. I think that's what PvE is. So you got that. You got those 3 main sections, and as I said, you might have some small outliers, right? So we're just going to start with the PvP section. This is one of the things that drove me in game for the longest time. I was solely PvP for a very long time in this game. And I feel a lot of people also can relate to that, because PvP is just one of those enticing things, right? It's super competitive, and you kind of show off, and you're with your friends, and you can see, for example, we're going to get into this, you'll see the progression and everything. It's awesome. So unfortunately, this first one is not that popular nowadays, but it's alignment fights, which is the Bontarian, Brackmarian fights, the ones with wings, right? Those ones used to be really, really fun. Nowadays, you can't find that many fights. But if you don't solely focus on this, if you do this coupled with another thing like the Coliseum, which we're going to talk about in a moment, it can still be something that's interesting, right? Oh, I want my goal is I want to see if I can get rank 8. And you might think, oh, that's easy. It's not easy, right? Even if there are multiple fights, it's not easy, because once you get higher ranks, you start losing 6 fights worth of points just by 1 loss, right? And that means you have to win more than 1 out of 6 fights. Your win rate has to be crazy. So it's not that easy. And then if you don't find any fights, here on Echo, for example, I play on Echo. I don't know where you guys play, maybe Elizabeth. You can always head over to the beta server, which you can access through your Uncama launcher. And the beta server has a lot more winged PvP. If you just go to -10, you'll definitely find some. If you specifically want only winged PvP, and that's a fun PvP server where you can do that sort of thing. And we were talking about the Coliseum. So the Coliseum has your 3 options. If you open the Coliseum tab, you have either 1v1. You also can have 3v3 in a pre-made group, so pre-made 3v3, or you can have 3v3 solo, where you just sign up and it'll hook you up with some people, right? Obviously, this system's not like the most balanced, but in general, I think it does its job pretty well. And like the pre-made ones are interesting. So you have your three options. One thing that I like to do is not try hard. I don't know if you guys saw, I have a video recently that I put up about it, where basically I just go and I try and farm as many Colos tokens as I can, as quickly as I can. And like if I come up versus an annoying class, this is 1v1. If I come up versus an annoying class, I'll just suicide, right? Because ain't nobody got time for that. So I've been enjoying that recently. That's currently what I'm doing. But you got, obviously, if you don't want to be like suiciding, you're kind of more competitive like that, which is very natural, right? I've also done that. You have the Coliseum is a ranked ladder, so you can go on the website and see where you stack up against other players. And if you're competitive like that, like your goal can be, oh, I want to reach top 10, or like top 5 if you're like an actual solid player, top 3 if you're really insane, and you know, if if you're crazy, you can be like, oh, I want to be number 1, I want to be the very best, right? As Ash Ketchum said, I want to be the very best. So that applies to to all 3 options, right? You can do that for 1v1, for 3v3 in the pre-made team, or 3v3 solo. You can, for all those, you can like try hard, or you don't have to try hard, right? You can always, if you don't want to try hard, you can just like test setups, right? Like I'm a rogue, and it's fun for me to like make a pre-made team where like I have someone who can teleport characters. So they'll like teleport people and I'll one-shot them with my bombs, and it's always fun, right? And especially if you do this with friends. So this is one of my biggest tips for people who are doing team PvP. Always go with your friends, right? And always make sure you're doing voice chat. Well, not necessarily always, but it definitely enhances the experience. If you're voice chatting with your friends and they're genuinely your friends, then you guys will just be laughing all day, right? Like if you're in Colo, you guys are talking and you're like actually close and you really like each other, you'll definitely be enjoying the Colo, right? Like you'll enjoy the Colo, you'll enjoy each other's presence, and the same thing applies for the next 2 things. So this is outside of Colo, right? You also have the King of the Hill system, which is another PvP system. Basically, it's like area conquest, if you guys are not familiar. So prisms are like teleportation devices that are like placed in different areas, and every area has one, and they belong to alliances. But people can attack those prisms, and if the defending alliance does not defend the prism when it's attacked, and they lose that fight, then the prism becomes vulnerable, and after a certain amount of hours, then the area is like open to this King of the Hill battle, where it's basically a battle of numbers, and whoever can stay the longest in that area and keep the most numbers. And it's really interesting if you guys aren't into that sort of thing, and plus it can be pretty rewarding. You also have perks, right? Perceptors. So these are placed to obtain drops, but you can also attack them with your friends, and you can take those drops from other people, and it's like PvP if they get defended. A lot of the times, if you're attacking with 5 characters pre-made, depending which alliances you attack, you might not get any defense, but that's just if you're picking and choosing. So I recommend you go to the Alliance Temple and you like pick out the highest valued perks, which usually would belong to the strongest alliances, and then attack those, and you'll probably have a nice PvP fight with a nice incentive, right? Because like you have a 3 million comma Perceptor, right? Between you and your 5 buddies, that's 600 KK each in theory. So that's kind of a fun thing that you could be trying to get, right? And it's like a nice motivation. So that's my advice for PvP, is Discord with your friends as much as you can. If you're doing Perceptors, for example, you can also Discord. So that was it for the PvP section. We're going to move on to the PvK section, so player versus commas. Player versus commas, I'm just putting this in the middle because it kind of takes from both of the sections, right? Like if you're doing Colo, you're like farming for Colo tokens, that sort of thing. And if you're doing like perks and King of the Hill, you can get your nuggets, that sort of thing. And obviously you make a lot of commas in PVM anyways, right? That's just a big part of PVM. That's how most people actually made their commas to start with, right? So what are some goals you can be setting yourself for player versus commas, right? PvK? Well, for example, okay, you can be like, oh, I want 100 million commas cash, right? Like to some people that's not that much, right? But then just change the number, like make it something that is a lot to you. If you're just insanely rich, like 600 mil just all day, then be like, oh, I want my first billion commas, right? But that's, those are crazy high numbers. But for me, I would be really happy if I could be like, oh, I want 100 million commas. And that's actually my current goal. I'm working towards it on my Rogue. This is not, don't be confused with my Rags to Riches series. This is separate. This is just on my Rogue character. I've been selling some stuff and trying to mage and that sort of thing. I'm trying to get 100 million, but you know, if for you guys you want a bigger value, you can set that and you can work towards that. So it's always interesting, and it's really nice because you can see your progression. So you can be like, oh, you know, I only started with 5 million comments and now I'm at 23 million comments. Like, damn, we're doing really well, and you can like be proud of that, right? Another thing you can do is, for example, level professions. So you can be like, you know what, I want to level 2 new professions, right? I want, what do I want? I want fishermen, and maybe I can like try and drop those rare fish. And I also want a new mages. I want like a shield mages, or whatever that's called. Artificer, no, that's not what it's called. Just shield, you know, whatever mages shields, that one. And on the topic of maging, right, you can also do some exo maging. You can say like, oh, I want to make a really good, like, perfect stat exo, or you can just be like, oh, I want a regular exo, or you can buy 20 rings and just mage those and then put AP on them all and see if any of them land, and then you can do that in like waves. And I used to do that. That's pretty fun. A lot of people do it. So exo maging is pretty fun, or you can do just like regular maging, or not even AP MP exos, but like resistance exos and that sort of thing. And this sort of stuff brings you a lot of comments if you're lucky, but obviously you need your own professions. So, you know, first you want to level your own professions, because you don't want people to be maging for you. That won't work. You need your own. So you need to learn maging, which this video is not about. There are guides out there. You can learn maging, and then maging is really fun, and it's a really good way to make combos. So you got that. You can also do some crushing, which you guys know I have a spot in my heart for. So crushing is something that I really love to do, and it's always very fun, especially when you click that item and boom, you get that big coefficient, right? Like that, you know, that's definitely something that is interesting and something that you can like look forward to, because just, I don't know, crushing it's something else, right? When you click that and you see, and there's like that moment where you're like, oh, am I gonna get this coefficient, and am I about to make 5 million comments, or am I about to lose 2 million comments? It's like so on the spot, and I don't know, I just love crushing. But if you're good at it, and if you need like any advice, by the way, I have a video about it, my crushing guide. But if you're good at it, then you should be able to make combos. Like, I've always made combos with it. Aside from this, you also have treasure hunting. So treasure hunting is something that people do. I do have a few notes on treasure hunting though. So treasure hunting in itself is not that interesting if you're just like treasure hunting all day, because it's kind of grindy. But if that's your thing and you enjoy it, then that's fine. So what I would recommend is, if you're treasure hunting, then if you have a like separate monitor, just be like watching YouTube on the side while treasure hunting, right? Because there's a lot of clicking in treasure hunting. Or you could be listening to a podcast, or you could be watching one of my videos. Why not, right? Just whatever it is. But one thing that I specifically recommend is, yes, I know there's a website that can like cheat treasure hunts, and like it just tells you where to go. But that's not fun. Like definitely if you're just going for commas and like you're desperately needing commas, right? And that's just, you're trying to get as many chests as you can as fast as possible. Sure, okay, use the website. I'm not going to link it. I'm just telling you guys that there is one out there. But I don't know. I think it's more fun to actually try, and you know, you're not enjoying the game if you're just clicking like a brainless zombie, right? That's never fun. So treasure hunting is definitely something you can do. And for example, you could be like, oh, you know what? I want to get 100 chests and open them all at once and see how many commas that brings me. Or like I want to see as many as I can get in one day and see how many commas I make in one day of treasure hunting. And a lot of people make a big fortune out of this, by the way. So you can get like map fragments and just a whole bunch of things aside from the Rose of the Sands, which you get every time. So that's, you know, that's another option. You can also, now this last one, a lot of people hate this, which is the buying % off, right? This is not exactly like a super fun thing, but listen, if like making commas is your hustle and you just enjoy like seeing commas come in and like making sales, right? This is definitely a good way to do it, where like you're constantly having sales because you're just buying like lots of items and putting them up in market, that sort of thing. Every time you log in, you're like, oh, 15 million commas sold. And that's like, a lot of people, that's their adrenaline, right? Like that's just what they like to do. A lot of people hate this, not for themselves. They hate to see people do it. They're like, oh, they're a % buyer. They're so cancer. I'm of the opinion that if it's there, then it's needed, right? Like if we didn't need % buyers, right? Supply and demand, simply. If we didn't need % buyers, then there wouldn't be any, because they couldn't exist. No one would like buy from them. But they're there for a reason, right? Because a lot of people sometimes need fast commas and they just don't care about that 30% that much. Like they just want to sell it, right? They want another item. You never know what it is, what person's situation is. But you know, % buyers are there for a reason, and they wouldn't exist if we didn't need them. That was it for my player versus commas. Last section. Well, you'll see. It's not actually the last section, but we have the PVM section. So PvM is one of the biggest parts of the game for a lot of people. I think it's the most popular part of the game. And PvM, just because it entails so many things. So I have a lot of sections here. So we have quests, right? You can do so many quests. You can do like Dofus quests, or they're like comma quests you can do daily, like quests that give you like pure cash, and you can do those daily. You can find those with like the blue exclamation mark on top of the PNG's heads. You can do quests, your Dofus quests, right? And they're always very rewarding at the end. You can do achievements. So this is very interesting. So you can do achievements. But there are different ways to do achievements, right? You can either do like, oh, I want to get all the achievements in the game. I want 100% achievements. And that is a goal that you can reach towards, and it's a very fun goal. Trust me. If you're reaching towards like maximum achievements, that's a very fun goal. If you're like into that sort of try-hard things, because you have to do a lot of difficult things, and achievements just cover so many parts of the game, right? Like you're gonna have to be doing some breeding, and you're gonna have to be doing quests, and you're gonna have to doing professions. Like there's just so much that you're gonna have to be doing if you want 100% of the achievements in the game. And a very cool part of achievements is that you are going to have to do dungeon duos. And dungeon duos, and as we'll get into later, dungeon solos, those are like a big passion of mine. I really love doing duos, and I really love doing solos. I've done a lot of solos, and I've done a lot of duos. And you know, if you have a friend who's like a really good PvPmer, you guys can join up, call each other on Discord and talk and like try and figure out strategies, that sort of thing, and pick hard dungeons, right? If there's a duo achievement there, then it's definitely possible. And if someone soloed it, then you can definitely do it, right? Like, just have faith in yourself. You just do it with a friend, or you can meet new people, right? Be like recruiting someone. Obviously, you don't want to end up with like a level 50 messages you who's like, yo, like let me like leech me or whatever. You need the actual help, but it's still something fun that you can do. And so outside of duos, right, you can take it a step further, and you can be like, you know what, I want to do dungeon solos. So dungeon solos, they're pretty hard, and basically, because I've done dungeon solos. The thing is, not every class can do this. That's the issue. Not every class can do a dungeon solo, because not every class is capable the same way. Typically, if you're going to be doing dungeon solos, you need to have like some like great mobility and really high damage, either burst or like that sort of thing. Like some of the top classes for dungeon solos, I think right now is Rogue, which I am, luckily. And you got Strams because they can go invisible, and if you're invisible, how are you going to lose that fight? And there's one more, but it's slipping me right now. You got Rogue, Spram, and what else does? Oh, like Sadidas. They can do pretty good dungeon solos because of the poison, right? They can like poison all of the mobs, and then hit them all by hitting one of them, right? And that's like a very useful thing. So the dungeon solos, those are definitely something interesting. It's a shame there's no achievement for like dungeon solo. That would be crazy. But if you can do it, try. And basically what it comes down to for a dungeon solo is you're going to have to do a lot of repetitions to figure out the movements, and you're sort of going to have to map out the fight. You're going to map out the fight like, okay, so you're going to start, you're going to probably lose the first time, and the second, and probably like first 20 times. But by the first time you play, you're like, oh, okay, so he's going to move here. And then by the 20th time, you're like, okay, so after he did these 3 movements, and, I moved them in this direction, you sort of like manipulate the fight, and you just plan it. And then you can't lose eventually, because they always do the same things, usually. Sometimes the fight will like start differently, the starting positions will be different, but if they're the same, then, which sometimes they are, and you can just reset the fight, quit, and come back, and then you can map out whichever starting position you feel is the best. So that's it for dungeon solos. And you also have one of the biggest PvM resources right now, literally infinite, okay, by the name, the Well of Infinite Dreams. So the Well of Infinite Dreams right now is like the endless dungeon, right? If you guys don't know how to access it, it's just in your like hotbar. You can go to the infinite dungeons, and you can go in a group of up to 4, and it's just a mixture of all sorts of monsters from all over the game, and put together and just like super boosted, like their strength. Like you can have a Peewee that's just 5,000 health hitting you minus 200. Like it's a lot stronger than a regular Peewee, of course. And it's always fun to reach those, right? Because you're like, again, you have to like plan out the fight and like figure out techniques to win. But you don't have that many tries. That's the thing. So there's more pressure, because you got to be like, oh, if I lose too many times, then you start like, it starts costing you dream points and that sort of thing, and then you will lose your like progression. If you guys don't know about Infinite Dreams, I'm sure you can find some like videos about it. But basically, Infinite Dreams is an insane source of like fun if you are into that sort of really try hard PvM. Because the further you go, the harder it gets, and that shit gets hard, like hard. You'll be fighting like 100,000 HP monsters that like can one shot you and shit. Like it's crazy. But if you're into that sort of challenge, then if you're up to it, then go for it. And it definitely gets hella rewarding. Like once you get into those really hard ones, you can make really, really good money off that sort of thing. And speaking of making money in PVM, so okay, that was it for the PVM section, but I actually made another section, which is not really a new section. So basically it's just the PVM/PVK. So it's how you make commas in PVM. I just made this its own section, so it's like separate from PVM. Obviously, all the PVM options we already discussed, like Dofus questing and achievement hunting, that sort of thing, they already make you commas. But this one's like a little bit more specifically towards commas, right? So what are your options? So you can do like mob farming for drops if that's like something you're into. Unfortunately, nowadays there's no like rare drops. Like back in the day, we used to like, you can either drop those Dofuses instead of doing quests, or they're just like different rare drops. Nowadays, I think Uncommon has like pulled, I think, all of the rare drops out of the game. I can't think of it too much. Like there's like the rare drops in like professions, right? Like in fishermen and that sort of thing. But I mean, from farming mobs, I don't know if there are any more. I'm trying to think, but I don't think there are. So you got that, which is fun. And you can definitely find like zones where you can make a lot of commas. And if that's your thing, like you like to grind that way, no homo again. If you like to grind, then you can just make a lot of commas this way and spend a lot of time farming mobs, right? You can also do wanted notices. So wanted notices, right? Like you go to the militia, you can have, there's the one in Astrib, there's one in like Frigos, there's your alignment ones, Bontarian and Brackmarian wanted notices. I believe there's one in Ankama Castle, I don't know if I mentioned that one. And basically this brings you a lot of commas because once you like arrest these mobs, you gotta beat them, right? So that's the PVM side of it. Once you beat the mobs, you can go back and return them, and they give you a lot of Dopploons for them, and Dopploons change for scrolls, and scrolls sell for a lot of commas. So the other day I was just doing nothing, and someone in chat was like recruiting for so-and-so wanted notice, and I was like, oh, I don't have this one, why not join? So I messaged him, and we went in together, and we just beat the guy, and I got like 2,000 Dopploons, and that can make me pretty decent commas, right? So if you're not doing anything, why not go and try and find some wanted notices? And on the note of like trying to find certain monsters, you can also be doing arch monster hunting. Arch monsters are important because you need them for like the eternal, I think. Eternal harvest questline, where you like have to hand in arch monsters. So some people buy them, right? You can put them up in the like arena soul market, or you can use them yourself and actually try and get the ochre Dofus yourself. And another thing, speaking of the ochre Dofus, you also need like dungeon souls. So you can go out and soul dungeons, and if you don't want to soul the dungeons from the ochre questline like Uga or whatever, which you can definitely sell, you can also do whatever's farmed currently for XP. Like I believe right now it's coriander, right? I believe that's like all the hype. So you can go out and like soul some coriander soul some coriander souls and work on selling those, because a lot of people buy them like in bulk too. So if you like in one day you get like 20, I don't know what price they're going for, but let's say you put your head down and you farm 20 coriander souls, you can definitely sell those for a decent amount of money. So you can soul dungeons, arch monsters, and you can capture wanted notices. Those three we just went over. If you also have your own team, or you have like one of those players that can solo dungeons, like I mentioned Rogue or SRAM. Typically SRAMs are used to do this because it's more guaranteed wins. You can also do dungeon leeching services, where you like people pay you to like take them through certain achievements in dungeons and that sort of thing. You can also, on that topic, you can do like power leveling, right? If that's your thing, you can power level people, they'll pay you. You'll be doing PVM all day, making a lot of commas all day, and seeing what sort of XP you can get. You'll be getting XP as well, meanwhile, which will like help you unlock really cool ornaments and like I think titles, that sort of thing. And that was the last one. So that is the last one, but there's one more that is outside of all of these sections. So I said that there's only 3 sections, there's one more. And so there's PVM, there's PVK, there's PvP, and there's the last section, which is being a dickhead. And what you can do if you're a dickhead is go around and tingle people. So tingling people is what you use with a larval healing potion, and you go around and you turn people into the color orange against their will, and they can't do anything about it. And the only way to get rid of it, I think, is like either there's like some technique where you like use some potion or whatever, but I don't know, I forget that, or they have to go and do like a fight. So a lot of people, they find it really, really fun to go around and just turn everyone orange on the map, and now everyone has to go and find a fight, and I guess they're driving the PVM economy by making people do this. So, you know, if that's what you find fun, you go ahead, but just know you're a dickhead. So how are you guys gonna use this video, right? At the end of this video, yes, it was a long video. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, oh, that was a fun video, click off. But no, what I want you to do is actually think about it, right? What is your drive in the game? Do you like PvP? Do you like PvM? Do you like making comments, right? What is it that you actually really like to do? And then go to that section and figure out something that you want to like try. If your hustle is PvP, right? Be like, you know what? PvP, I've never actually tried to, try hard the 1v1 ladder, So I'm going to really gear myself for 1v1 and I'm going to try and win all my fights and see if I can get like 5,000 rating. Right? If your hustle is PvP, we just went over PvP. Let's say your hustle is like PvM. You're like, you know what? I want to reach like 400 level on the Infinite Well of Dreams, right? Well of Infinite Dreams. I want to reach the 400th floor. That's definitely something you can do, and why not? Why not go message some friends? Again, you can like Discord. There's definitely things to do in game, guys, and I really hope that this showed you that there's a lot to do. Please pick out something, try something, and always remember you can message me in game. Tell me how this video helped you, if it does at all. My name is Defy-X. You can see my character on the screen, I'm sure, throughout this video. Please never hesitate to message me. I'll also link my Discord in the description if you want to message me there. I hope you guys have a really good day, and I'll see you at the next video. Ciao.